What's up, Gearheads? Welcome to the Baker Gearhead Garage. Today we're going to talk about a pretty simple maintenance task. This video is about how to adjust your clutch. Now, I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence. I know everybody probably knows how to adjust their clutch already. But I'm going to show you something maybe you didn't know that's pretty slick. We've got a trusty 2005 Softail here. Of course, I've got my factory service manual and I've read the procedure. Basically, what it tells you to do is remove the derby cover. Now, I've gone ahead and removed the whole primary cover and drained it because of what I'm going to show you. I've also gone ahead and disconnected the battery. I went ahead and slid this boot up and sprayed some penetrating oil on this cable adjuster and made sure it was good and free, just so I wouldn't look dumb later. I've got some tools here. I've got a 1/2 inch and a 9/16 combination wrench, 7/32 T-handle Allen, and an 11/16 clutch adjuster wrench. If you don't have something like this, you can use a bent up box wrench or an 11/16 socket and a ratchet. Also, I took a piece of 125 thick or 1/8 inch thick scrap aluminum, and I made this little gauge that I'm going to show you how we use to go ahead and check the free play at the cable. So back to the factory procedure. They tell you remove the derby cover. Like I said, we've removed the whole primary cover. Then you want to fully shorten this cable adjuster. So you'll have to hold this with one wrench, back off this lock nut, fully collapse this. Then you loosen this nut in the center and you run this screw out. You run it in till it just touches. Then you run it in even more to feel some spring tension. Then you back it out. The book says 1/2 to 1 full turn. And that's what we're going to talk about, and here's our discovery. And you'll notice this other gizmo here. This is a dial indicator with a vice grip flexible mount. Now this is pretty trick because I'm kind of a trick tool junkie and I love to collect tools. I've got a piece of scrap angle iron here that I've clamped this to. You don't have to have anything this elaborate. I mean, you can just get a piece of scrap metal and a cheap magnetic base and a cheap indicator. I mean, they're available everywhere. You can get the stuff on Amazon and probably have a whopping 20 or 30 bucks into it. And it's a great tool to have. You always want to have a dial indicator around for precision measurements. Now, why is clutch adjustment important? Well, you don't want your clutch to be to fail to disengage because you're going to have problems shifting your transmission. You're going to have problems finding neutral. Your bike's going to creep through stoplights. You could damage your transmission, and basically it'll make your life miserable. And if your clutch is adjusted the wrong way with too much preload or not enough free play, your clutch may slip and you may burn and damage your throwout bearing, which could deposit little hardened needle bearings into your transmission, and believe me, that'll really ruin your day. Okay, gonna loosen my lock nut, back my screw out, back this lock nut off, good. Notice I'm gonna run this in. I'm just starting to feel pressure here, but I'm gonna continue to turn this. I get about a turn in there. I'm really starting, you can see the pressure plate lifting, you can feel the spring pressure. Back that off, run it in until it just touches, feel pressure there, okay. That is a 1/2 turn and another 1/2. So now we're out 1 full turn, or the factory maximum. They say a 1/2 to 1 turn, so we're going to see just what that does. Again, you want to hold your adjuster so it doesn't move when you tighten your nut. Now your all-important cable free play. Remember that 1/8 inch we talked about? Back that adjuster down. After a while you can get a pretty good feel for what an 1/8 inch is, but I always like to have my handy little tool just so you guys know I'm not cheating. There we go. Perfect. Go ahead and hold this here like this. Lock this here like this. Now that we got our adjustment finalized, again, I'm bringing my indicator into place here. I'm going to lock it in place with that little lever. You want to make sure all your little adjustments are tight here so you get an accurate measurement. Sometimes you got to mess with this stuff a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zero my indicator right here. Okay, so with my one turn adjustment, you can see my indicators are on 0. And I've ran you through the adjustment procedure. You can see we've got just under, it's right about 60 thou pressure plate travel. Call it 58. If we rode this bike with the clutch like this, it would be okay. So we've established that one full turn out will yield us about 60 thou pressure plate travel. Here we go. Let's back off this adjustment just like the book says. Bump, bump, bump. Fully collapse this. Again, a little lube on here goes a long way. My handy clutch adjustment tool. Bink. Got that loose. Again. Okay, so I run this until it touches. I run it in till I lift my pressure plate. You feel spring tension there. Back out. Again, touch. We're going to back it out 1/2 a turn. I'm going to snug this lock nut up here. My handy tool. Hold that still. Lock that down. Now it's time to redo our cable adjustment. You remember that 1/8 inch we talked about? This is going to get real old soon, I know. Okay. Before we start measuring anything, let's just actuate that a few times, make sure our balls and ramps are seated. Everything appears to be working pretty good. Okay, take my handy dandy indicator. Got it there. Zero that out. Look at that. We got 80 thousandths of pressure plate travel. Not 60, 80. That's a pretty big deal. So what I'm telling you is, by changing that setting from a full turnout to a half turnout, we've got 80 thou clutch release. So we picked up another 20 thou just by changing that adjustment. That doesn't sound like a lot. Believe me, that's a lot. So, well, sometimes you should leave well enough alone, but I'm not that guy. Wonder what would happen if we did it, say, a quarter turnout with the same amount of free play and everything. Let's see. So, let's rehash. At a full turnout, we had 60 thou pressure plate travel. At a half turnout, we had 80 thou pressure plate travel. We're going to try a quarter, just because we can. Loosen that. Take your wrenches. Again, no cheating here. We're going to do it exactly the same every time. Shorten that. Again. Run that until it touches. Running it in now, I feel spring pressure. I'm lifting that pressure plate. I can see that. I'm gonna back it off. I'm gonna run it until it touches. I get a little resistance there. I'm gonna go a quarter of a turn now. Think that's a quarter of a turn. I'm gonna hold that nut there. My handy tool. Don't forget your all-important 1/8 inch of cable free play. Here we go. We got an 1/8 inch there. I've got my half. I've got my 9/16. I'm gonna lock my adjustment. I'm gonna cycle it a few times just to make sure everything's seated nice. Okay, then we get our friendly dial indicator here, and hopefully it'll cooperate and go right back into place for us. Got that locked down nicely. Let's go ahead and zero that. Look at that. We've got 90 thou pressure plate travel, 0.090. So we went from 60 to 80 to 90 just by changing the adjustment. Again, we got the same amount of free play at the cable, so we're not cheating anything here. We're not leaning hard on that throwout bearing. We've got proper adjustment, but just by finding that sweet spot on the ramp, we went from 60 thou pressure plate travel to 90 thou pressure plate travel. And that, folks, is a big deal. That's 50% more pressure plate travel simply by playing with the adjustment. You know, it's called finding the sweet spot. This is something you can do. And again, you got to check your ramp. You can't just say, oh, he said use a quarter turn of this. Doesn't really work that way. You got to find the sweet spot. You got to do the test. You got to put the work in. So let's just say you've done this adjustment. Like we talked about, we want to see a minimum of 60. We know we can get 60 with this. I mean, it's a 2005 motorcycle. It's got a good factory clutch cable. Nothing's really worn out. What are things that can really reduce your travel to an unacceptable level? One is a worn lever pivot here. See, this one's nice and tight. This is a late model, so it's got nylon bushings in it, and we, you know, maintain our bikes pretty well. This is well lubricated. The cable is lubed, and the bushings are in good shape. You can see it's not real sloppy. Another thing that's really important is a good clutch cable. This is a factory clutch cable. It's a heavy type casing. It's known as a longitudinally wound type. In other words, it's not that old school spiral coil that you used to see on bikes in the 70s and 80s. You know, it's a much stronger housing. And what does that mean? Okay, it means the housing stays nice and stiff, so the lever is actually transmitting all of that force to the pressure plate. See, when I pull this in, this cable, yeah, it moves a little bit, okay? That's normal. You're gonna get a little bit of movement. But if you've got a cable that's doing this, in other words, if your cable does a dance and it's tweaking and twerking all kinds of ways, you're giving up a lot of very, very important movement there, and that could get you below that magic 60 thou mark. Cable routing is very important. See the way this cable goes from the transmission cover across the bike to this side in a nice, smooth arc. It's not wedged or pinched anywhere. It's routed nice and smooth. Smooth is good. And again, you'll see minimal deflection in it. Well, sometimes, say you're building a custom bike. Say you got a really trick FXR with some, you know, 12-inch club style risers or some tall T-bars, because you got a really cool fairing on there. And your cable routing gets a little tricky, and the stock cable just can't cut it. You just can't make it stretch, or in order to make it work, it's stretched really bad, or it's tweaked at an angle, or you got to go under the tank on one side. No good. It's time for a custom cable. I've been building custom and race bikes my whole life. I always turn to Barnett when I do my custom cables, because they know what they're doing. They've been doing it since the 40s, you know. You don't have to make all kinds of precision measurements. You say, look, I got an FXR with mid controls, so they'll know that, okay, it goes in the side cover like that, which means about that much free wire. I'm using a stock Harley lever, or I'm using a PM lever, or whatever. And the casing length I need from the transmission to the lever is 80 inches, and they'll do the rest. You'll get a custom cable, whether it be an eyelet style or an old school style with a ferrule. It'll fit, it'll work, and it'll have that good stiff housing. So again, good cable, proper lube and adjustment, check everything for wear, and don't forget about that all important free play. If you don't have that free play and you burn that throw-out bearing and it drops all those needles in your transmission, don't come crying to me, because I told you so. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and ride safe.